Leading Life, the show all about living to the fullest and leading life on your terms.
You will learn tips, tools, and strategies for achieving total personal transformation.
I'm Bren.
And I'm Cam.
This is Leading Life. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Leading Life. Thank you so much for joining us. We're having a blast doing this show. Cameron, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing fantastic, man. How are you?
Very, very good, man. What have you been up to? I know we're working together all the time, but we've been kind of our separate ways this past month or so. How you been?
Dude, I've been up to so much. We got 2 short films done this month, and we're working on 6 episodes of my new series. Lots of stuff going on at Implicit Visuals. It'll be all released. Well, some of it will be released mid-September, so get excited for that. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited.
That's great, man. I'm pumped for it. I know it was cool to kind of be a part of the film that you were working on. It was, a fun little scene for me. I'm no actor, but it was cool to have a part in what you're doing.
Yeah, that was actually really awesome to have you there. Had you mentioned the Implicit Jam in the movie. Some self-promotion there.
Yeah. I mean, I've been pretty good too. I just been playing lots and lots of music, doing lots of gigs, getting really organized, and so many things, just lots of things coming together. It's been an amazing summer. Actually, over the weekend, I played 6 shows in 3 days. It was just insanity and a blast. But I'm pumped because Monday is like my favorite day of the week, and here we are, Leading Life Podcast, ready to go. If you guys are watching this right now live on Facebook, do us a favor, and we'd love to have your comments. Sorry, excuse me. If you have any questions or any sort of comments you want to join in on the conversation, please make sure you do that. Also, help us out. Share the video. Let's get some people in on this and have a conversation. You ready to go, Cam?
Absolutely, man. So last week we had Daniel Kennedy here, and this time we've got your topic. So it's been a while since you've presented a topic here, Brennan, so get ready.
Get ready. Okay, I'm just sharing the podcast on Facebook right now. Anyways, today on the podcast, I want to talk about why you come first, why you are more important than anything else in your life. And yes, that means anybody else in your life, anything else that you're a part of, just you are more important. You are the biggest thing. Cameron, are you ready for that?
Sounds a little selfish. You're going to have to convince me here, ready? But
a little selfish. Well, I got 3 reasons, 3 kind of ideas why you come first and why I believe you are more important. Cameron, you are more important to you than I am to you. And honestly, I'm more important to me than you are to me. And the reason I say this is because we are the only people we have control over. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't think for me. You can't feel emotions for me. You can't take action for me. Right? Like, if I really cared for you, Cameron, and I really wanted you to, get a job or something, I can't just like become Cameron and go get a job, right? That's something only you could do because that's you, and me, I'm only something I could do, right? Is this making any sense at all yet?
I mean, kind of. Everybody's their own person, right? They can only control their own lives. You can't really control anybody else's life, right? So
yeah, and so the idea here is that we don't have control over the outside world. There's things that are going to happen. There's people that are going to do things, say things. There's people who are going to pass away and loved ones who are going to move on. And there's so many things out there that we can't control. So we don't have control over the outside world, but we have absolute control over the inside world. And that is basically why I think you are more important than anybody else, than anything else, because that's the only thing you have control over. I mean, the whole world could be crashing down right now. Everything, like, I mean, for you, if you're a business person, your whole business has failed, or you're a family person, your family's leaving you, or your health, you're losing all your health, or you got this disease or something that's crippled you, right? This is all outside world stuff that you can't necessarily change. You could influence it, but you can't always just change it like that. The only thing that we could change like that, create a change like that, is the inside world, our thoughts, our emotions, the actions we take, basically who we are. That's the only thing we have control over. And that's why I feel like you come first, because you only have control over you. That's the only thing that you could really have an effect on. And if you can't control anything else, you have absolutely no reason to worry or to stress out or resist any sort of other change, because it's inevitable. It's the outside world. You can't change that, right? You can only change the inside world, right?
I couldn't agree more, man. Totally. So, like, when you say, we come first, what does that help? Like, what does that change in your life if you start focusing on yourself before anybody else?
So that was principle one that I wanted to talk about, is you have control over the inside world, not the outside world. And why is this so important? Because step two is action is more important than reaction. And what I mean by this is taking action, like important action, based on you rather than just reacting to everything that's going on around you. What I mean by this is you take care of yourself first, right? When you wake up first thing in the morning, you take care of you. Before you answer your phone call, or before you check your email, before you start working on your business, or you start, doing this, and this, whatever it is, you take care of you first. You got to have a set of rituals. For me, I've got 10 things that I do every day consistently, and I don't miss them. And I do those 10 things before I do anything else. And like before I go and work on my business, before I go and help my brother Cameron, before I go and, go volunteer at the homeless shelter, whatever it is, before I do anything, the first thing I do is take care of me. And why is that so important? I think it's so important because when we're taking care of, all right, here's the story. I forget where I heard this from, but actually, I'm just ask you a question, Cameron.
Yeah.
If you're on like a plane, okay, and the plane's experiencing turbulence, and you guys are going down, and they're telling you, okay, dude, put your mask on. It's over. Like, we need you to put your mask on because we're going down. We don't know what's going to happen, okay? And you see people all around you who need help, who can't put on their own mask. Maybe there's a small child. There's an elderly man who is, having trouble. You just see people all around you who need help, and they tell you, okay, everybody put your mask on now. What's the first thing you do?
I would probably help the other people who can't. I then quickly put mine on afterwards. But that's just me. I don't know.
But you see, that's exactly what they tell you not to do. They tell you specifically to put your mask on first, because here's what will happen if you don't. You're scrambling around. There's stress. There's all this. Everything's hectic. The plane's going down. Everybody needs help. And this could be an analogy for real life too, because this is how life feels sometimes, right? There's all these things going on, a million things. Everybody needs help. Everybody wants something. There's so many things to react to. And you're told is first things first is you got to put your mask on first. And why? It's because if you don't put your mask on first, you're not going to be able to help all the people around you. There's no way. Maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to help one person. And then by the time you help that person, who knows, maybe you can't breathe. Maybe it's too late for you. And so instead of putting your mask on first and then going around and helping every single person you can, you try to help everybody, but you can't because you can't even help yourself first. Is this making sense?
Well, yeah, like you can't breathe, so that way you can't help anybody else because you're going to die. You're going to pass out or something.
Exactly.
So that goes for real life, apparently?
Apparently. Work with me here, Cam.
I'm just asking,
Work with me here, man. You got to help yourself first. Because if you don't help yourself, you can't help anybody else.
Okay, it makes sense because like when it comes to helping others, you can't help, rich people, or you can't help poor people if you're one of them, and you can't help the hungry people if you're one of them, right? So you got to take care of yourself first, make sure you're good to go so that you're in, the best shape possible to help others and make sure everybody else is doing good.
Cameron, here's an example, okay? I'm 100 pounds overweight. I just got diagnosed with diabetes, and I'm clinically depressed, okay? And, well, you, Cameron, are somebody who has the exact same problems that I have. Okay, and you sympathize for me because you know exactly how it feels, and you're like, okay, you know, I feel this because I could relate to the way you feel. I want to help you. I want to do everything I can to help you. Do you think you'll be able to properly help me lose weight, to fix my emotions, to get my life on track if you're having the exact same issues that I'm having?
Yeah, exactly.
There's no way.
Like that's why Tony Robbins read 700 books in a couple of years, because he knew that he needed to get add his personal value, you know what I mean? He had to make himself more valuable so that he can help others. Like I said, you can't help poor people when you're one of them, and you can't build a boat when you're in water. You have to make sure you're settled, you're good to go.
And that's why I say you come first. And I think so many people out there, all we want to do is we just want to help people. We see people suffering and it kills us, and we just want to find a way to help them any way we can. And I see people like this every day. And I love these people because they're people who truly care. They truly have a ton of compassion. But the one issue they have is they care about everybody and everything else more than they care about themselves.
And that's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing. You need to love yourself. You need to care about yourself more than anything else. More than anything else. I'll tell you, the reason I'm bringing up this topic is because about 2-3 weeks ago, I was in this weird funk of just I was in a pattern of just not really feeling really good physically. You know, my health wasn't the best. I was dealing with a couple sicknesses or a couple bugs. I don't know exactly what it was, but that was going on. And then as a result, I wasn't working on my business as much. I wasn't working on my health, my music. And so everything just kind of took a fall. And as a result, I kind of just let myself go. But I was still trying and struggling and pushing super hard to work on my business and work on my music and work on all the other things and help out my roommate, help out my cousin, and help out my parents and help out whatever, and just trying to do so much to help other people. Meanwhile, I was sick in bed. You know what I mean? It's I can't even take care of myself, and I'm trying to take care of everybody else. And it's just a big wake-up call for me to think about, dude, you're useless right now. I'm trying to help everybody, but I'm useless because I'm not taking care of myself first. You got to add value. You got to become somebody of value.
I agree, but there is a bad side to this, because there's certain ways that sure you can focus on yourself and really try and grow, work out, I don't know, read books, just add on to your personal value, make yourself more valuable so you can help people. But other people do this thing where they just are selfish. They only care about themselves, and they care about instant gratification for themselves so that, they can have a better life by themselves.
Oh, totally. There's definitely another side of this. I think being selfish is a very important virtue. I think it's something that not enough people are selfish enough. And let me explain myself there.
I think it might be in a certain way. There's certain
way,
types of selfishness.
And the kind of selfishness I'm talking about is just take an hour out of your morning and just take care of yourself. Go work out, make sure you have the energy and the strength you need. Maybe do some meditation or some reading or something that puts you in a good emotional state. You want to make sure, first thing in the day, before you go and help anybody else, before you go and work on your business, before you go and help your family, before you go feed your kids, okay? Make sure that you are physically strong, you're mentally and emotionally strong, and you're spiritually strong. It's those three things. You're mental and emotional, physical, and spiritual. And the reason these things are so important is because this is who you are. This is where you live. I don't care about your car. I don't care about your house. I don't care about your job. All I care about is how are your emotions? Are you emotionally in a good place? Are you physically in a good place? Are you spiritually in a good place? Because if those three things are in alignment and those three things are at their best, you're going to have no problem feeding your kids.
Well, I think it depends, man. You wake up in the morning and you're just okay, my baby's crying and needs help, but you know what? I think I need to work out first. I think I need to make sure I'm good so that I can feed my baby.
Well, there's exceptions. I mean, if you got a baby crying, sure. But what I mean is this happens to me all the time. I wake up in the morning and I check my phone. I got 10 emails. I got 20 phone calls and all these. Everybody wants my attention. Everybody wants help with something, or there's a task I have to do, or there's something, and it's just it gets overwhelming for us. And I know I'm not the only person who deals with this. You know, you got family members who want your attention, your buddy wants to hang out, all these things, and it just gets overwhelming. And if you don't take care of yourself first, it's easy, very easy to get caught up in reacting to every single little thing, right? Because what happens is when the first thing you do in a day starts a pattern, okay? So if the first thing you do in the day is you take action based on yourself, like a selfish action, something that you're doing for self. And when I say selfish, don't forget that helping yourself is going to help others. So selfish is good in the end. So you're taking care of yourself first thing, that's action. And on the flip side, first thing you do is reaction. Maybe you answer a phone call, maybe you go do something, I don't know what it is, but you're reacting, okay? You begin a chain. So first thing in the day, if the first thing you do is just take action on something small, you know, what I do first thing in the day a lot of the times is I just make my bed. Seriously, like making my bed, it's a simple task, but for some reason it's like super easy, and the first thing I do in the day is make my bed. And then as soon as I'm done making my bed, I feel like doing something else. I'm like, okay, well, that's one action. Bam, momentum. What's the next one? And then, okay, bam, I just went for a run. What's the next one? Okay, workout. Bam, yoga. Bam, meditation, incantations, you know, strategize, all these things, and it just happens because it just starts a chain reaction. And the flip side happens, you know, if the first thing you do is answer a phone call from, you know, somebody who says, hey, I need you to go do this and this and this and this for me, and here's a to-do list for you, and, you know, hey, here, you know, your wife, your husband needs you to do this, and the kids, you got to drop the kids off, you got to do this, and just a million things. And then what happens is you begin a chain reaction of reaction. And so you end up just reacting to a million different things happening. And then next thing you know is you're getting ready for bed and you realize, wow, I didn't actually do anything today. I basically just reacted to the outside world. Could you relate to this at all?
Absolutely. I actually have a friend, and you know him. You know, he's this guy who he means well. Like, he really wants to help people, but he has not helped himself. And he'll tell everybody, yeah, I'll do this for you, or I'll fix that for you, or yeah, man, I could go to your house at this day and do that for you, or yeah, I'll help you with this. Tells everybody he's gonna help them. He's a great guy, but he himself is not in the right place. You know, he suffers from depression. He's got substance abuse going on, and his house is a mess, and like, I don't want to say any names, but like, this guy, he's a great person, but he has not taken care of himself and his own life. Therefore, he cannot help anybody else. And people, you know, they're like, oh, where were you when you said you'd help me, blah blah blah. And he's just like, well, man, you know, so you don't want to go out there and make commitments to people, like 10,000 commitments, when you yourself, you're not even, you know, you're not good. You're sad, or your house is a mess, or you're out of shape.
I think we actually see this a lot, you know, where it's like, and yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, man. It's like, yeah, I want to help this person do this, I want to help you do that, and in the end, if you don't take care of yourself first, you're just going to end up disappointing everybody around you by making empty promises, right? And it's so crazy to me. And we all do this. Because life today is so easy reaction. Like this cell phone, dude, this thing right here, this is the biggest distraction of life, man. Anybody could contact you at any point, and they could give you something to do, some sort of to-do task. They could ask you a question. They could distract you from what's most important to you. All I'm trying to get down to in this episode of Leading Life is you need to stop reacting to everybody else's bullshit, and you need to start thinking of what's most important to you and get that done first. And then there's plenty of time to deal with everybody else. There's plenty of time. Seriously, I'm talking about taking maybe 1 hour out of your morning and getting yourself in shape first, whether it's mental shape, physical shape, spiritual shape, and then you can start focusing on your family, and then your business, and then those other things, because, you know, you just want to make sure you're in a state of action rather than reaction, and don't let this thing get in your way, because as beautiful as it is, and I mean, like, I love my cell phone. There's so many great things that I could do here, contact people, organize my life, you know, just Google. Like, Google's the most amazing thing in the world. But as great as this is, it could easily be a distraction, and it could actually hold you back from living the life you really want to live, and actually achieving what you really want to achieve. And that's what we're talking about here today. Right?
Absolutely, man. I've noticed that. It's like your phone It's got a lot of downsides, but if you strategically take advantage of it, and this goes for almost everything, the television, your computer, your dog, like, you got to make sure that it's not, it's serving you, you know? It serves you, and it feels good, and it's good for the future, and it doesn't hurt anybody, you know? And this is basically the topic I had that one week, how to live your life effectively, so.
Exactly. So, 1 second. Excuse me, if you know me, I burp a lot. Okay, excuse me again. Step 1, okay, or point 1, or principle 1, or whatever you want to talk about is number 1, okay, you have control. Stop giving your control to other people. Stop reacting to the outside world. Realize that you don't control the outside world. All these things going on out there, too bad. You don't have control. As much as you want control, and trust me, I'm the kind of person who loves to be in control and be organized and have, step by step. You don't have control. Things are going to happen that you can't, it's out of your control. But you do have control of the inside world, okay? You do get to decide, what does this mean to me? What am I going to do about it? How am I going to feel about this? And those are more important than anything else anyways. So that's 1. Number 2, always action over reaction, okay? Take action before you react to everybody else. Make sure you take care of yourself first. Have those daily rituals that you do before you answer your phone, before you check your text, before you go on social media, before you work on your business or your family or whatever it is. You first, okay? And step 3, this is the most important thing. Your life is your message. Okay, this for me has been such a huge wake-up call. And that's a Gandhi quote, by the way. Gandhi said that. And basically what this means is, no matter what you tell people, no matter what you try to help people figure out, learn, believe, whatever it is, they don't live life based on what you say. They live their life based on what you do. Do you know what I mean by this, Cam?
Can you explain it a little bit more? Sorry.
Explain that. No matter how much you talk, no matter how many messages, great inspirational quotes or whatever you put out there, which Cam, me and you do this all the time, people don't listen to that, Cameron. People aren't listening to our podcast right now. They're listening to who we are. Do you know what I mean? They don't care. I could tell you right now, what it takes to go make $1 million. I could tell you what it takes, but I've not made $1 million. That's not my life. That's not me. That's not my message. So as much as I could tell you this, tell you that, tell you blah, 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 words, messages, the real message is who you are. The real message is your life and how you live.
Okay,
and that's the most important aspect of this topic today.
I couldn't agree more. I said in a previous episode that every time I come up with a topic for the show, I look at my own life and ask what's going well. And that's literally how I come up with every topic, is I just look at my own life and see what I'm doing well, and then reverse engineer and figure out how I'm doing this, and then I teach it to you guys.
That's how this episode came about for me, man. I was just thinking to myself, like, okay, the past week, 2 weeks of my life, where's my focus been? What has been the main thing for me? And honestly, main thing for me is why do I come first? What's most important for me? Because last month, the month before, it was all implicit. It was all business, dude. It was like, I don't care about me. I don't care about my health. I don't care about how I look, how I feel, how I smell. All I care about is my business. And as a result, I was unhappy. The business wasn't even doing that like, not saying it wasn't doing that well, but it would have been doing a lot better if I had also been focusing on myself. But I was just putting so much focus into this one area that I didn't have complete control over. And it drains you, man. It takes you down. And so the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks of my life have really been like, focus on me first. Like, take care of Bren, and then take care of Implicit, and then take care of family, and then take care of, your friends and everybody else who needs you, who needs your attention. So that's why this came about, and a big thing for me is just, what is my message? I was asking myself all the time, what do I really want people to know? And not about me. This isn't about me, but what do I want people to know about themselves? And it just came down to it. Like, man, just live your life. And that is your message. Like, don't worry about what kind of words or how you're going to say it, or what I'm going to put this word instead of that word. I'm going to phrase it, sentence it like this. No, man, just live your life. And that is your message. Your life, what you do, how you react to people, how you treat people. how you do things, like that is who you are. That is your message. And so that's why that's most important. And when you take care of yourself, man, that's easy because you don't even have to think about your message. You're taking care of you, and your message takes care of itself. And people just see it, man. Like, you ever notice, I guess this is really just, it's about not trying so hard. You know, just don't try so hard to please other people or to, you know, help people. If you help yourself, if you take care of yourself, if you focus on making sure that you're at your best, oftentimes people will just see that. People just look at that. You don't have to tell them. If you just do that for you, they'll see it, and that affects them more than anything else. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody come up to me and say, man, I love that you do this, and it inspires me to do that. I've never had anybody come up to me and say, oh, I love how you said this, or I love the way you put those words together. No, it's always like action first. You know, you take an action, people see that, that's what inspires them. It's not the words, it's not the way you say it, it's what you actually do. It's who you actually are, right?
Absolutely, man. It's actually very, very simple, this topic. It's really just take care of yourself. It's such an easy thing. It's so simple. And sometimes it's difficult, you know, because you'll always be thinking of other people, or you'll always want to just to help other people, and like you always get stuck in a task. Like I was this morning, man. Like I knew I had to book some filming time, and I didn't have time for my morning stuff that I usually do, right? So sometimes it'll be hard, but the more you keep it consistent, the easier it gets every single day. You know, momentum.
Yeah, I love, there's this saying or quote, or I forget where I heard this, but it's if you're only willing to do what's easy, life will be hard. And if you're willing to do what's hard, life will get easier and easier and easier and easier. So I love that because it just makes so much sense, man. It's like always we just want to skip out on the tough stuff. And honestly, Cameron, let me ask you right now, what's more important to you, right? If mom were calling you and mom said, Cameron, you know, oh, I just got in a car accident, I need your help, you know, Cameron, get over here now. Or, you know, but you're just about to get in your meditation. You're just about to do your meditation. It's the most important thing for you in the day. You're like, okay, I got to do this meditation. But mom calls and she's like, dude, like, I just got in a car accident, I need your help. What are you going to do?
I mean, obviously, I'm going to go see mom, like.
Exactly. That's why it's so hard to take care of ourselves, because that's your mom, dude. It's like you love her to death. It's like you need to help this person. You need to help this person. It's a deep need for you. That's why it's so hard for us to choose us over other people.
I mean, either way, you should choose your loved one if they're in that situation.
100%. That's what I'm saying. Is in that situation, you should do that 100%. But you interrupted me, and you interrupted my pattern, Cameron.
Oh, sorry, man. Go on.
No, it's totally cool. I'm just messing with you. No, yeah, man. And that's totally what you should do in that situation. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that in that situation. I'm just saying the desire is there, like the temptation. And it's not always as intense as mom got in a car accident. Sometimes it's just your buddy who's like, hey, dude, you want to hang out? You know? It's like, dude, I got this important thing I got to do, but my buddy wants to hang out. And I know it's going to be a good time. I know it's going to be fun. Right?
Well, yeah,
and sometimes it's just like weighing the odds, you know. Sometimes it's simple. It's like, dude, I could meditate for 10 minutes right now, or I could go save my mom's life. Like, what's more important? And sometimes it's not like that's a really easy decision, but sometimes it's not as easy as a decision. But just knowing yourself and having self-awareness and knowing like, okay, did I take care of myself today? Am I ready? Like, am I in the proper state of mind to go do this? And honestly, the more you take care of yourself, the faster it gets. Like, I'm not telling you to spend 3 hours taking care of yourself every day. Like, that's too much time. Like for me, man, 1 hour tops, maybe 2. Like, and in that hour, I get workout, exercise, meditation, incantations, you know, everything. My whole mind, body, and spirit are taken care of in that 1 hour of time, and that's all I give myself. Like if I take more than that, more than 2 hours, like something's wrong, you know. But just making sure that you're taken care of first. We got a couple comments here that I want to read because I want to make sure that we engage the people who are watching this podcast, because honestly, I don't know if we'd even be doing this if you weren't here listening, because that's what's so important for us, is just, you know, hearing your stories and engaging in the conversation with you. So our friend Brock Carlson here says, you can always help family and friends so much more if at the end of the day you help yourself too. I agree with a lot of things you guys talk about. Thanks a lot, Brock. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you. And our friend Shelby Ann Tilker says, definitely so true, especially helping others for your job. She says she's a PSW and DSW, and I know for a fact if I didn't help myself, I wouldn't be able to help others I work with. The focus wouldn't be there for me, at least. It makes so much sense, especially in your line of work, Shelby, because those people, they really need your help. It's oftentimes they can't help themselves if they tried. And so that's why it's so important for you to be in the proper state of mind to be able to help them, because it's not always easy. Sometimes you're trying to help people who don't want to be helped, right? And if you're not in the proper state of mind, if you're just hanging on and you're trying to help somebody who doesn't want to be helped, and it's stressing you out and it's like throwing you off, like there's no way you're gonna get out of that situation in a positive way. Like you can't be just barely hanging on. Like you got to make sure you take care of yourself before you go and try those other things. Yeah, Cam, we got a friend here who just put a long comment. We're gonna read this. Are you ready for this, Cam?
Here we go. Yeah, go for it, man.
This is good. Emily West says, so agree. I've always put others before me. Few years or even months ago, I was believing that caring of myself was something totally selfish in the wrong way, but I realized that I need to learn to take care of myself first to help others, because I remember that a person I loved a lot always told me you can't save someone from drowning if you don't know how to swim yourself. He was so right. So now I try to take time for myself first, and then I answer people and feel strong enough to be useful and to help others. To help others correctly, yeah. I also have my daily rituals before reading my mails, answering my phone calls, and I try to get that I can't be everywhere every time. I also need time for me. I try also to get that we can't help someone who doesn't want help. I've control on myself, not others. Have an awesome day, guys. Go on, guys. Even if I'm busy, I always take time to listen to you. I really love your points and points of you, and you both are just awesome and deserve to be known all around the world. Well, I'm not very good at reading, but thank you so much, Emily West. That's a great comment, and I love what you say here. The temptation's there. We always want to help other people before we help ourselves. But just you're on the right track. And I think anybody who's watched this episode is gonna come out of this with a ton to think about and a ton to go and take action on. And we're going to have a ton more episodes where we talk about exactly what you could do to take care of yourself first. Like, how do you get yourself in the best mental and emotional state like that, like fast? Because like maybe you don't have 10 minutes, maybe you don't have 20 minutes, maybe you're super stressed and you're in a situation maybe at work or at a family thing, and you have to do something now. You have to help somebody now, but you're not in the proper mental state. What do you do in that situation, right? We're going to have episodes where we show you exactly like fast. How do you change your state fast? How do you get into that playful mode or that determination mode or beast mode or whatever mode it is for you that you need to get in, right? And also some physical stuff, some spiritual stuff. Yeah, I'm pumped, Cam. How you feeling?
Really good. Really good. So did you want to wrap up the episode or?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. I feel like this episode is a good one. I think it's going to kind of push us off into a bunch of other directions to elaborate exactly on what we talked about here today. Next week, what do we got going on next week, Cam?
Next week, it's my topic, is it not? We don't really have a guest in next week, not that I know of, but hey, who knows? Things could happen last minute, but...
Well, tune in next week for a surprise, because who knows what's going to happen on Leading Life.
All right, take it easy.
What do you mean take it easy? Like you're leaving? Like
yeah, we're leaving, bro. It's the end of the podcast.
Okay, well, thanks, guys. Thanks for everything, Thanks for your comments. If you have any other comments, leave us... Daya. Sorry, I got a dog. Yeah, just because you didn't catch the episode live doesn't mean we don't want to hear your comments, so make sure you have your comments, questions in the comment section on Facebook, iTunes, YouTube, all that great stuff. Thanks again for tuning in, and peace.